the first annual. Well, we're back again doing this, but it's only just me doing this, and I have a very special guest for you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you WolfKeen, aka Keeneye47. Yeah.
Hey guys, Keeneye47, aka WolfKeen here.
So, I know you for how many years now? How many years have we been friends? I think it's been a while, right?
3 years, because I went to Comic-Con in 2012, and that's when we met.
Yes. Speaking of Comic-Con, that's coming up near. But I know you're not gonna be there, and rumor has it the day I'm going is not gonna be the greatest. But hey, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, because Comic-Con these days, it's like the tickets are selling like as soon as they go live.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as they go live, the tickets are gone.
They are.
I want to go at least one more. I want to go at least another year, but I'll probably just get like a single day pass.
Yeah. So let's start walking into. You're a Let's Player. You're a vlogger, if I could say that. If I'm allowed to say that, I don't know.
Yeah, you are.
Vlogger. You do your reactions to your videos. The MLP stuff. I know that. Anything else that I missed that that you should add?
No, not really. It's pretty much the gist of my channel. I consider myself a Let's Player and a general discussion channel because I like to talk about a wide variety of different topics, from TV shows, games, or even movies, depending if something piques my interest enough and I want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. I've seen most of your videos, and I've noticed you talked about the Konami incident with Kojima. I've noticed you talked about what other stuff have I noticed you talked about? Gamer really. Again, I think majority I've noticed was Konami. Basically, let's just break that down. Was just the last couple videos I've seen were Konami related with the Silent Hill. I know you're not a huge fan on what they did with the slot machine.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started on that.
And that pissed off a lot of people.
It's like they cancel Silent Hills and remove PT from the PlayStation Store, and then they all of a sudden have this amazing animated trailer. Like, go search for it. It's a really good animated trailer, but it's for a damn pachinko machine, or at least a slot machine. Now, I've said this in my video. I get that that's popular in Japan, but the fact that they put all this effort into making us believe that we're going to get like some kind of actual remake of Silent Hill 2 or something like that, only for it to be like a slot machine or pachinko machine, whatever the hell the thing is, it feels like a royal slap in the face to every Silent Hill fan, and that's been around since the first Silent Hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, so we're not getting a game, but you guys are gonna get this awesome slot machine. All right, fine. If you guys want to just piss off the whole gaming community, do that then.
Yeah, it just seems like Konami is just more and more proving why we don't need to support them anymore. It's like, I think they're trying to ceremoniously and slowly remove themselves from the mainstream gaming community and try to move towards what they want to do, and that's mobile games and stuff like that. Because they say they want to focus on mobile games and otherwise.
Yeah, mobile games are fun, but, like, it's Konami. You guys are a big name company. I feel like you guys should look to maybe not always do mobile games. Maybe try looking for a substitute for Metal Gear, because Metal Gear is basically over. It's I consider it the end, basically. Unless you want to go past where Raiden is still doing stuff, which Ryzen wasn't really that bad, and I will admit that. I know some people said it was a pretty good game. It wasn't Metal Gear, and I don't think it was really trying to aim to Metal Gear. We already saw what it was looking at. I don't see them making anything else,
Well, that's the thing about Rising. It's like, it's not Metal Gear Solid, it's Metal Gear Rising. It's its own series, and I do consider it chronological because it takes place 4 years after the events of the Guns of the Patriots incident. I do consider it a chronological game, just not in the Solid series, but in the Rising series, because I kind of would like to see a sequel to this game and maybe continue the story, especially with the ending, which I won't spoil.
Yeah, see, what threw me up, I didn't think MGS2, this would be a game after MGS2. I thought it more after MGS4. That's what I thought, because I thought it was more aimed after, like, the situation after Solid Snake is old and everything, and, you know, is...
Yeah, and it was touched on that, because they even talk about how, like, you know, like, cyborg soldiers and stuff like that were beginning to overflow the market after the, you know, the ceremonial disassembly of the SOP system. So basically, after SOP went out, you know, soldiers had to find a new way to control the battlefield, and of course, that came with cybernetics.
Yeah, which makes a totally different story. I don't mind it. It's in the hands of Konami. I honestly, the universe is great. I'm happy where it goes with MGS5. I know some people like it, some people dislike it, but, you know, MGS5 made sense where it needed to make sense, and I'm happy that made sense. Rising, I feel it made sense there, and,
Yeah, I mean, I think Rising spawned one of the greatest characters in Metal Gear history, if you ask my honest opinion.
Yeah, I think it gave more hope to Raiden, where people, I think, didn't really like Raiden that much, and I think it helped him out a lot more.
Well, of course, he has a lot to come back from, so... Yeah. But anyways, getting away from that...
Yeah. So, moving away from that whole topic, so, what have you been playing lately? Because I haven't really been playing that much. I've been busy with other things, you know, Metal Gear situation. So, what's been going on in the channel lately of WolfKeen?
When it comes to Let's Plays, unfortunately, at one point my PS3 died on me, and I do 2 playthroughs on my PS3, which is Dark Souls 2 and Fallout New Vegas. The PS3 is my dominant console when it comes to doing playthroughs and stuff like that, but I do own a 360, a Wii U, and I do use my PC from time to time, so I ended up trying to figure out what would be another playthrough to play on my channel, and I ended up asking people, and they wanted me to play Zombie U, which is what I'm currently doing on my channel.
And you're enjoying it, right?
I quite like Zombie U. I think, like, you know, some of the hatred and stuff the game got, while some of it is warranted, a lot of it I feel like is just kind of like, it's kind of like almost like a nitpick or even a knee-jerk. Like, people complaining about the, you know, the permanent death, where if you die, you go to a different survivor and now have to find your previous zombie, kill them so you can get your equipment. I like this idea because it makes you play smarter. When there's no fear of death, you're pretty much just being stupid and doing what you want. But when there is a fear of death and a fear of being, like, you know, put at a disadvantage because you die, you play a lot smarter. You think out situations a lot more properly.
Yeah. It's more like strategy inside, you know. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. And I agree with you 100%. I think more survival games should be able to have that kind of mindset. And it's a third-party group, which is great for Nintendo, and I'll bring up Nintendo in a couple of minutes after we're done and everything, but, you know.
Alright. Yeah, it's like, with Zombie U, I like the direction they were going. It's unfortunate that it didn't sell very well, but then again, it got re-released on PS4, Xbox One, and PC as Zombie, which is the dumbest title ever. I don't know why they didn't just rename it. And my opinion with that one is, if you've never played Zombie U on the Wii U or don't own a Wii U, get it on those consoles. But if you do own a Wii U, just get it on Wii U. It's really just the same game on... The port is pretty much the same game, only with no gamepad. But I think the gamepad is the best part for Zombie U.
And what is the positives having it with the gamepad? I'm curious. I don't have it, so I'm trying to...
Well, I'll say this. The gamepad may look like a hard controller to use at first, but to be honest, it's really not. For a person that has big hands, this is actually a really easy-to-use controller, and the gamepad actually makes it that you can play games without needing your TV. Meaning, say I wanted to play, like, Mario Kart, and, you know, my nephew wanted to watch Netflix on my TV. I can just play Mario Kart on my gamepad while my nephew is watching Netflix or something of the like. And the gamepad does incorporate itself into certain games, like Zombie U. In Zombie U, you can use the gamepad as your map, your inventory, and otherwise, and it simulates that. Like, having to go through the gamepad, almost like going into your backpack when, like in The Last of Us. Put the backpack down, you can't really defend yourself, you're searching in there for what you need, and then when you're done, you put the backpack back up and keep moving. That's what Zombie U does with the gamepad.
And then what I saw also out of some of the gameplay, I know that there's sometimes that your base will get attacked, so it's
that's a one-time deal. I'll say it like that. That is a one-time deal. It happens very early on, but it kind of gets you into the idea of how to play smart and why it's a bad idea to go after hordes. It's like in that situation, you have to, plan out your strategy properly, because if you try to fight 3 or 4 zombies at once, you're going to get killed.
So, if I wanted to Leroy the whole game, I couldn't really do it, basically.
No, it would be a bad idea. It would be a very bad idea, as a matter of fact. This would lead to a lot of deaths and you losing weapons. But the good thing is, even if you die and you don't recover your equipment, they're going to place it somewhere on the map that you can find using the CCTV cameras. So it's never permanently gone. So you just got to go get it again.
So is it more? Do you have to be more stealthy in the game, or do you have to be like stealthy, cautious, and like that kind of feel to it? Basically, you're saying.
I wouldn't say stealthy, because there really is no stealth system in the game. But it's more like taking everything one step at a time, making sure you check the gamepad for radar pings, because it could pick up the movement of anything, not just zombies. Checking each room properly, making sure you have plenty of ammo and stuff like that, and making sure not to put yourself in a bad situation. And one of the first things the game teaches you is to know when to back off, when to run. Because sometimes retreat is the best option. Like, if you're not prepared for a situation, just go back to the safe house and prepare properly, and then try again.
That's interesting. I will think about it when next time I see it. Speaking of Nintendo games, I know this is a Nintendo game. I know you have played Nintendo games on your PC. Have you been affected to the that Nintendo monetizing your Let's Plays or anything?
No, because I don't have any Nintendo playthroughs on my channel that are part of the whitelist. I did a good job in avoiding that. Like, for instance, I'm playing Zombie U, which is not a part of the Nintendo whitelist because it's a third-party game. I played 13 at one point on my channel, which is, again, not a part of the whitelist because it's a third-party game. And for some reason, Smash Bros. Is not on the whitelist either, so my video of Melee has not been flagged either. I've gotten no flags from Nintendo.
So anything made by basically Nintendo that's not third-party... because I think Smash was kind of basically third-party, with just Nintendo basically saying, giving them the all right to do it because everybody likes Smash, and, it's a good way for Nintendo to make money and stuff, and...
Pretty much. Smash is not a part of the whitelist for some strange reason, which does make me wonder why that is, but it's not on the whitelist, but you do have to be careful with the music. I'll say it like this, if you're going to do Smash 4 videos, watch what music is played, because some of it is copyrighted.
And that goes down that whole situation, with the copyright strikes, and gets annoying, and, Nintendo being Nintendo. But, more stuff I heard about Nintendo is that supposedly the next-gen console isn't going to be that great. I don't know if you've seen the next-gen console that they're pushing. I believe it's...
The NX.
Yeah.
I do know some information about it. I've been paying close attention to that one. A while ago, Nintendo patented a diskless hard drive for a product that they're working on, which a lot of people are kind of claiming that it could be the NX. The NX being a diskless system rather than using disks. But then again, it's also been stated by many other companies that they might be going digital only as well, going diskless, because there was this statement I saw that said the next generation consoles might be diskless, but that's going a little bit far ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry for cutting you off. No, I know you've been going on about the whole diskless thing. I just want to know your quick opinion about the people going digital. You think it's the right time for digital, or do you think we should still get hard copies?
I still think we should get hard copies because a lot of people like that collector factor. It's like a lot of people like collecting this kind of stuff, like collecting games on like like showing it off to their friends. Like say like you bought a bunch of games from like the bargain bin and they were really good, and you just kept collecting and collecting and collecting for years, and then when your friends came over and you're just like, look at my collection of games. You have something to show. With digital, not really. It's like they're on your console, and if the console dies, well, good luck downloading them all again.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I know people think it might be the right thing. I know certain games are already digital. Again, I believe in the collector value also, and I believe that you should also have a hardcover for the game.
Yeah, because basically if we go all digital, then pretty much trade-in and stuff like that lose their value. Now, I know some people will say, oh, we shouldn't be able to sell our games and stuff like that. Let's say it in this perspective. Not everyone is able to buy the game at full retail price and maybe wants to buy used because, that's the amount of money they have. I have $20. I want to buy a game. I'm probably going to get something that's used or something like that because, let's face it, no game that's new is going to be $20 unless you buy it digitally.
Yeah, and the pricing's really weird on the market and stuff. I'm not going to go into that.
Exactly. So for some people who can't really afford the brand new game or even the digital game, they'll probably get something used and still be able to purchase the game for a decent price and be able to enjoy it.
Yeah. You're right with that. Let's keep the motivation on Nintendo. So what else about the NX do you know about? Because honestly, I've heard little things, tidbits, and just not a lot of good stuff coming out of this from Nintendo.
Well, besides the patent for the diskless drives, I also heard that the NX is not only supposed to be a console, but it's also supposed to be a handheld. There's supposed to be a part of the controller itself that you can remove, or a part of the console that you can remove to make it into a handheld, and then you can put it back in the controller or the console. I don't know which one. That's supposed to make it back into a console again.
It sounds like almost like how they were doing with the Wii U, almost like the Wii U to me felt like almost like a bigger size of a 3DS or a DS that's in my hand, and like what you said. I can switch it off if somebody wanted to watch TV or something like that, and I could still be playing my game. Like, that's what I kind of felt like before.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Wii U did that, and not to mention the screen was, I don't know the resolution on the gamepad, but it definitely looks almost as good as my current TV, which is, it's nothing special, just an Insignia, which only goes 720p. So if my Wii U gamepad is 720p as well, it's pretty much the same quality. I know there are better quality TVs out there, but that's what I'm trying to say. For me, I think it looks almost as good as on my TV.
Yeah, no, and I actually agree with you, because when I play Mario Kart, it does actually look really good. Than on my TV.
The thing is, I'm a little worried with the NX because they say that it's going to be more powerful than the Wii U, and it's supposed to have third-party support. My only issue is that, what does that mean for the Wii U? Are they going to abandon the Wii U? Are they, like, it kind of feels like we're about to get another Saturn situation, where Sega released the Sega Genesis and then later released the Saturn, and then dropped the Saturn for the Dreamcast.
Yeah, which, honestly, I don't know. I think a lot of people said that the Dreamcast was actually better than the Saturn, if I'm wrong. I might be wrong.
No, it was. The Dreamcast was better than the Saturn. The problem was that it came out at the wrong time because of the PS2.
Yes, that's the big thing I've heard from people saying that it was just really bad timing. And I remember it exactly because I didn't know what the Dreamcast was out exactly. And honestly, I was so confused because I knew the major three, well, the major two at the time, I think, were Xbox and PlayStation 2 at the time.
Yeah, because GameCube came out later.
Yes. And then that's when Nintendo's like, oh, hey, we're going to make discs now, and they're going to be really small and everything, and yeah, that was like, why is the disc really small all of a sudden in this cube? It was weird.
I know, the GameCube didn't really do as well as it could have. I mean, a lot of people still like it, but because the GameCube was using these smaller discs, it meant that it held less storage. But I think what they were trying to do was just try to make it more compact, like easier to move around and easier to store in like certain locations.
Yeah, and I have no complaints with that. That's what made it really cool and everything. I'm like, oh, cool, I can fit this anywhere. It's like a box, you know, and just put it somewhere. And I still have my GameCube. It's in a spot somewhere.
But that's my biggest fear. It's like I think we're about to get another situation like we had the Wii, which did really well for Nintendo. It was a commercial success, so you could probably consider the Wii like Nintendo, like Sega's Genesis. Then we got the Wii U, which almost feels like the Saturn. It's like Nintendo is about to drop the Wii U and start to work on the NX, because I heard a rumor, and it's kind of from a reputable source. The NX is supposed to be coming out next year.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out early next year to mid next year.
And like what you're saying, like the Wii U, like I think the Wii U is awesome in every single way. The Wii is awesome in its own way too. It's just that I feel like the Wii U came into a bad spot where it's like, well, we still have the Wii. Why are you guys making the Wii U? Why don't you guys make it a whole new different console instead of just calling it the Wii U or something like that? Because it just doesn't feel... It still has the word Wii in it, and it's still using the Wii motion controls. I feel like what they were marketing with the Wii U was the motion controls, which was awesome at the time because it was totally different from everybody else. And I feel that's where Nintendo succeeded on that market, where it was like, hey, we're the first to do this kind of shit. So, in your face Microsoft, in your face Sony kind of deal. And then Microsoft and Sony had to play a little catch up with that whole motion thing. I saw, and then you saw Sony come out with the whole, what was it, the PlayStation Move thing?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this right now. The problem with the Wii U is that, well, the thing is with the Wii U, it was supposed to incorporate HD because the Wii did not have HD, unlike the PS3 and the 360. The Wii did not have HD. And not to mention, the Wii did not have DLC capability, unlike the PS3 and 360. So, of course, Nintendo had to release a console that would be more up to snuff, which is what the Wii U is for. I do like that the Wii U is backwards compatible. That's cool. So I can at least play Wii games on the Wii U with a Wii Mote. Wow, there's a lot of Wii going on in here, but you get what I mean.
Yes, yes.
But the problem is that they tried to release it early, but the problem is that third-party support for the console dropped like crazy because nobody was buying into the gamepad gimmick.
Yeah, and I think that's where Nintendo was like, well, no one's getting really into it, and the sales are dropping and stuff. Maybe if this came on as like maybe an add-on for the Wii, or it just wasn't marketed as the Wii U, or it was just marketed as like and I feel like it's an upgrade from the Wii U, and I've heard people say this: if you don't have a Wii, then don't get the Wii U. There's no point getting it, But, you saw the next games that were coming out on the Wii U, so you really forced had to get it and stuff like that.
The problem is with the Wii U, it's almost like the new 3DS. The new 3DS, unfortunately, has games that are exclusive to it, but can still play the previous 3DS games. And for me, I'm just kind of like, why are you doing this? It's like, I just bought my 3DS not too long ago, and now I hear there's a new 3DS that I have to buy if I want to play games like Xenoblade Chronicles X and stuff like that. And I'm just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo is dominating the handheld market. There's no denying that. I mean, seriously. I went to GameStop the other day, and I found a Vita TV, which can, play PS Vita games on your TV, for only $40.
Yeah.
That's how bad the Vita is doing.
And I like the Vita. It was a good game. It feels like a good thing. I just think Sony wasn't thinking straight, when they were thinking Vita. With the PSP, I love the PSP, but when the PSP Go came out, then I think things started slipping a little bit. It was like, hey, we're going digital now. With the PSP Vita, but I'm like, no, why do you guys go digital? Keep the hardcover stuff. It's just awesome and everything. And then when I saw the Vita, I said, okay, it's now time for me to upgrade my PSP. Um, I liked where it was going with the touch thing. It was really cool. It was new. It's like, okay, you guys are trying to top the 3DS.
But it really didn't at the end of the day, unfortunately. The PS Vita, I can only name 3 games from the top of my head that I remember from it, and that's Uncharted Golden Abyss, Gravity Rush, and, fuck me, I actually forgot it. Oh, Persona 4 Golden, there we go. Those are the only 3 games I remember from the Vita. Everything else, well, people have told me about Danganronpa and otherwise, but I've never played those games. But that's what I'm trying to say. Out of all the games on the Vita, I only remember a select few. On the 3DS, I can name quite a few games that I've played or otherwise know about off the top of my head. I mean, I played Shin Megami Tensei 4, Smash Bros., Splinter Cell 3D, Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask 3D. There's a lot of games I can name off of the 3DS, and hell, I even have a few downloaded, like Ultimate NES Remix.
Yeah.
See, like, that's what I'm trying to say. The 3DS had a more appealing library of games than the Vita. The best games on the Vita are Japanese imports.
Yeah, and I've heard people say that too. That's the problem with it.
Yeah, that's the major problem. So back on the topic of the Nintendo NX, I just don't know. It's like I'll wait and see how it does. But if you ask me, I have a bad feeling Nintendo is heading down the same path as Sega, where they're about to get knocked out of the console game, and pretty much it's going to be just the big two.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you on that. And I've heard everybody saying it's like I don't want Nintendo to go, but it's like it's gonna happen. It's just all the moves they're doing is completely wrong, and they should rethink things over.
Yeah, I mean, if they do well with the NX, good, because I want to be wrong. It's like I don't like being right in situations like this, but if the Nintendo fails with the NX, I have a bad feeling they're going to back off the console game.
I feel like the NX is going to be a test thing at first. I think people are going to buy it, and we're going to hear things off it. It's either going to be like one of those kind of things where you're going to be like, well, it looks good. Okay, I agree with you on that. But is it worth me doing that than spending my money on a PS4 or an Xbox One?
Let me say it like this. It's not that easy to catch lightning in a bottle twice. They did that with the Super NES. When Nintendo released the Super NES, holy fucking shit, they did well. And a lot of people have been saying, like, they're waiting for Nintendo's next Super NES. You know, like their next big hit.
Yeah.
And we still haven't seen it yet. So like I said, to end that topic, the Nintendo NX, we'll see, but if it doesn't do well, I don't know. I don't know how much more. I know Nintendo will still make games and stuff like that, but I think they might just go strict handheld or something like that, because they do have that market dominated.
Which is not bad, and it's smart. I don't mind it. It's still them within that little franchise, the gaming franchise. It's not going to mobile phones. It's
not yet, at least, because there are rumors on that one, but it's not yet, at least. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say on that one.
Yeah. I know one of the big things that Nintendo is cracking down that's pissing off a lot of people right now is speedrunners on games, and they're doing and if you post your speedruns, I know Nintendo was cracking down on that whole situation, but it's just looking more and more like Nintendo needs more money from all the Let's Players or YouTubers or, you know, whoever plays Nintendo, basically. And
look, I'll say it like this. I understand fully about protecting your IP. Because let's face it, if your IP is in danger, there's a chance you'll lose it. I can understand Nintendo doing this, but the way they're approaching it is not the best way. I've talked about this subject many times over on my channel. The idea of copyright and otherwise. The problem is that's a very loaded situation, because some people will defend it, some people will agree with it, and otherwise.
Yeah. Which, you know, it's just that Nintendo's just that lovable company that's like, you know, it's like we gotta keep this company going, but the practices are getting to the point where it's pissing off a lot of people.
Pretty much. All right, let's stop ranting about Nintendo.
Yeah, I think we should get to a new topic. Um, why don't I ask you for a topic? What do you really want to talk about? You know.
I'm actually want to talk about Metal Gear Solid 5. I do want to talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, but we can't go into spoilers because I know people haven't played it, and then when I post it up on YouTube and someone listens to this and they just go like, I just got spoiled. So I'm gonna try keeping it as clean as possible. Try keep it as spoiler free as possible. You know.
Well, I'm basically just want to talk about the basics because I haven't played the game yet and I'm still trying to get my hands on it. So I'll only talk about the basics of 5, and I also want to talk about the MGS series as a whole. Like, where is it going to go from this point on?
Yeah.
Like, Metal Gear Solid 5, I do think is probably one of the best games that was released. Not the greatest Metal Gear game. A lot of people have said it's still not the best. It's still not better than Snake Eater, and from watching people play it, I kind of see where they're coming from. But I still think Metal Gear Solid 5 is a masterpiece in its own right. Same way how Snake Eater was a masterpiece in its own right.
Yeah, I think every MGS game was just done differently in different styles. Like, if you compared Peace Walker to MGS3, there's going to be some similarities. Because when I played the Legacy Collection, I noticed right away controls changed a little bit. Stuff was added.
Yes, because in Peace Walker they used 3 different control styles. One of them was used from Metal Gear Online back in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, one was used from Metal Gear Online, so that was one of the control schemes that they did. And they also did a weird Monster Hunter control.
Monster Hunter control. I gotta learn that.
I've never used it, and I don't know who did. If you did, well, you gotta tell me how that went. I always went shooter controls because they were the more comfortable and familiar.
And they always should be. Your controls should always feel comfortable. It should never be you always fighting with the controller. So.
Yeah, that's one thing you never want to do. That's what I mean. It's like each Metal Gear game is its own masterpiece in a different way. I know some people still cry out against Metal Gear Solid 2, but I don't think it's like, yes, okay, fine, I agree. The fact that, like, they advertised this game so heavily with Snake, I mean, seriously, look at the intro trailer. There are no scenes of Raiden in that entire thing whatso flipping ever.
Unless you want to play Ground Zeroes, there's Raiden's in that.
Well, no, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's like in Metal Gear Solid 2, the trailer that they had, the intro trailer for the game itself, it's like there were no indications of Raiden in the game, and then all of a sudden, here he is, brand new character who came right the flip out of nowhere. I get why people got upset on that one, but I still think Metal Gear Solid 2 is a masterpiece in its own right.
And the whole Kojima whole thing, it's like, hey, you're gonna play Snake for the first half, and yes, people, it's been over a year. We could talk about this game. It starts you off as Snake, and it goes right into Raiden, which is a totally new character, like you said, which is awesome for Kojima to try and do that.
But it could have been approached a lot better, I think, if you ask me. It probably could have been approached a lot better.
I still have to play it, but I know the majority of the story. I had to watch Lores just to make sure I had everything coming into MGS5 anyway, so...
But yeah, it's like each Metal Gear game has something new that they added. With the original Metal Gear games, it was 2D, but it still incorporated stealth elements. With Metal Gear Solid, they incorporated a more 3D plane while still keeping the familiar style of Metal Gear. Then with Metal Gear 2, they added even more, adding non-lethal weapons and stuff like that, lighting effects and such. Metal Gear 3, they added the camo system, adding new weapons, and hell, even the stamina meter. Metal Gear 4 went further with this, making the game feel a little bit more open, especially in some of the levels like South Africa. Then of course we have Metal Gear Peace Walker, which incorporated the management system of running a mercenary group because you are playing as Big Boss in this game. I never played Portable Ops, but people tell me that is a really fun game. And now we are back. Then we have Ground Zeroes, which incorporated a more streamlined control scheme for newer players, but still kept a few familiar elements of the original Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Now we're here at Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, which incorporated a lot of elements from previous games, but the biggest addition was the open world. I get it, open world is a staple at this point for most games. That's understandable, but Metal Gear has never gone open world. The closest we ever got to that was 4. And even then, that didn't feel like a open world, per se.
Yeah. And a lot of people said MGS4 was more movie-ish than, compared to this one, you get more gameplay out of this than it being like a movie. Like, you'll most likely be, like, doing a lot more stuff. If you want to do the main mission, do the main mission. You get your cutscenes in between whenever you need them. That's how I know it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like, with 4, the story took the mainstay while the gameplay was in the background. With MGS5, the cutscenes are in the background, yes, but they're still there. But the gameplay took the most precedence and stuff like that. It's like, I've been watching someone play Metal Gear Solid 5 by the name of Young Yea, if anybody knows who that is. And it's spelled Yongyea, in case y'all want to check him out. But basically, I've been watching him play MGS5, and the way they handle the game, especially with the open world aspect, is really freaking good. Especially with the way enemies will start to adjust to your strategies. They did this in Peace Walker. In Peace Walker, which I'm currently playing right now, a lot of the enemies were noticing I was pulling off a lot of headshots. So, of course, now the enemies are wearing helmets. Which means it's going to be harder for me to pull off those tranquilizer headshots.
Yeah, and I know in MGS5 they do the same exact thing. And you can actually cut their supplies off so you had less guys to worry about with the helmets.
Yeah, exactly, and that's an interesting thing. It's like they'll adjust to your strategies and begin, like, being smarter. Like, I know at one point if they see you do operations during the night, they'll start wearing night vision goggles, have more people on spotlight patrol and otherwise.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say. I like that they're incorporating new elements into the game to make it feel like an actual open world and a changing world. This is why I like MGS5 so much. I want to play it. I do. It's just I can't right now because I don't have the money.
And actually, I'm going to try throwing up a quick clip if you guys want to see some stuff.
Alright, no problem.
You can still talk. You can still talk. I'm just trying to throw up the clip. That's all I'm trying to do.
Alright. But that's what I mean with the entirety of the Metal Gear series. They always add something new throughout the entirety of the series. They always like to step it up with the story, but Kojima likes to keep it interconnected. Because if you play all of, like, let's say it like this. If you really want to understand the full story, you're definitely going to have to do a lot of, play all of the Metal Gear games. Not really the original Metal Gear games, unless you want to fully understand the story, but let me say it like this. Look at the big boss games. 3, Portable Ops, Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes, and now Metal Gear Solid 5. If you played all of the big boss games, you would understand the story up to that point. Now let's say you never played any of the big boss games, and you only started with this one. You don't need to play Solid. You don't need to play 1, 2, or even 4 to understand the story for the most part. Yeah. But you will still be lost.
And that's what Kojima does. Like, because people said, like, there's, like, I've noticed there's hints of MGS3 in it. Like, there's, like, some Easter eggs in there. There's Easter eggs to, I think Metal Gear in it. Some characters will come up in MGS5 who you'll be like, who's this? I've never seen it. Like Huey, which is in Peace Walker, and I didn't know he was in Peace Walker because I didn't play Peace Walker. I know who Paz was. I know who, because I played, like, if you played a good amount of Ground Zeroes, you know who these two are. They explain it briefly in MGS Ground Zeroes, so,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, they do explain who they are briefly in these games. And not to mention, it's like, again, it's like, if you were to play Ground Zeroes as your first Metal Gear game, again, you'd be confused. Look at Angry Joe. He pretty much said that Ground Zeroes was more or less his first Metal Gear game, and he had no clue who any of the characters they were talking about, like Amanda, Chico, Paz. None of them. And that's fully understandable. It's like, how would you know these characters if you never played Peace Walker? That's what I'm trying to say. But then again, that's the one thing. I think even, okay, in the story aspect, 5 is probably one of the worst places to start in the Metal Gear series, along with Metal Gear Solid, 3. But for a gameplay aspect, I don't think 5 is a bad choice to begin with.
No, it's not. It's mainly in between Peace Walker and the original NES version of Metal Gear, which, if you get the Legacy Collection or if you get the HD Collection, it's in MGS3. All you have to do is just go into MGS3, it goes into extras, and you can play the first 2 games, and then you can play the 3rd game if you wanted to. You know, it's wrapped up. I'm trying to think how much the Legacy or the HD Collection is. I think it's about maybe
$40, I believe. I think it's $40.
I think it's less now. I think it's around $20 now.
Well, I bought mine's brand new, so there's the thing.
Okay. And when did you buy it?
I bought it a few months back when Nintendo World Championships was going on.
Okay, so it's still high price, and it's Konami, so they're gonna try.
Well, not Nintendo World Championships, the qualifiers. That was all the way back in summer of when was that? I think it was somewhere in May or something like that. Yeah, somewhere I think in May or something like that. That's when the qualifiers happened. But yeah, pretty much it's like I bought the game then and there because I found it brand new. And yeah, so it probably is still high priced. It probably went down to 30 or something like that brand new. But yeah, it's still pretty up there. But I'd recommend it. Because with the Legacy Collection, you get nearly every Metal Gear game. You get a digital copy of 1, you get 2, 3, you get 4, you get Peace Walker, and hell, with 3, you get the original 1 and you get the original Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2.
Yeah. Which is good. Which is a plus. Which can get you caught up. It comes with, I believe, it comes with a book. The Legacy Collection comes with a nice art book, so you can look at the nice pictures and everything. It's very nice. It's beautiful and everything. I have it. It's great. It shows all the hard work Kojima's done. So
It definitely does. And I was able to pick up my copy before they started taking off the Hideo Kojima game logo on the copies now, because now most of the Metal Gear games, especially the Legacy Collection, they're taking off a Hideo Kojima game.
I don't know. MGS5 had a lot of the Hideo Kojima thing on it, which was surprised to me. I thought they were taking it off.
I think they took it off of the front of the copy, not really the game itself.
I don't know. Hold on. Let me look at the game, actually, for a minute.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, they probably removed it from the original, the front of the copy, but not really in the game, because it still says directed and produced by Hideo Kojima and yada yada yada, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my game says Konami in the front. Yeah, it doesn't say Hideo Kojima on it. It's day 1. That's all it really says.
Exactly. It doesn't say that on the front anymore. But that's what I mean. They're removing that from all Metal Gear games. The Legacy Collection, they're removing the Hideo Kojima game. Ground Zeroes, they're removing it.
Which is, honestly, you gotta respect Kojima, and I think that's the problem with Konami. And a lot of people said it's because of the new guy that's running Konami, basically. There's a lot of problems with him because he's like a young guy. He didn't really know what's going on, and I think that's where the big problem's coming.
Yeah, I pretty much see what you mean on that one.
And I know, and I understand, and I think that's where the disagreement came into. Also, I think also another problem was the whole money system in the game, buy the coins and stuff like that. I don't think Kojima really wanted that to happen.
I don't think so either. The problem is with that system, it's like, yes, you get a daily allowance when you log in, but not all the time will you get mother-based coins. Sometimes you'll get BMP, and other times, no, GMP, right?
Yeah, I think it's GMP.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes you'll get GMP, and other times you'll just get, mother-based coins. It's not consistent. Like, I was watching a play the game, And one time he got mother-based coins, and the other time he got the GMP. It's like, I don't like this microtransaction action system that was incorporated into the game. And I doubt it was Kojima that did this.
Yeah. I don't know. I just can't see Kojima doing it. That's the problem with it, too. I'm like, I cannot see him do it.
I think that's just the major problem, though. It's like Konami's trying to get as much money as possible. Like, okay, still on the topic of Metal Gear, there have been confirmed rumors and even reports of Konami working on a new Metal Gear series. Even have staff openings and everything for it.
Yeah, like you still have like the Fox engine's great. I love it. It's great. It's a good add-on. It's new. It does the job good.
Yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, that's an engine that did not go with Kojima. That's staying with Konami.
Yeah.
It's like,
a shame, and you know.
Yeah, especially since they worked so hard to make that engine, Kojima Productions, which is no more at this point.
Yeah.
Which does sadden me at the end of the day that Kojima Productions is now over. But then again, I think it's a good thing Kojima got out of Konami and is doing I really hope he does his own thing. I really hope that he begins, doing his own thing, and he begins, doing what he wants now.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's hoping. It'd be like another Mighty Number 9 kind of thing or something like that.
Yeah, but then again, the Mighty Number 9 situation is a different thing altogether, because there are some bad things going on from it.
So,
but, sir, go ahead.
I know. I'm just curious a little bit. Like, what's going on with the Mighty Number 9 thing?
It still hasn't been released, even after it's been slated for a release date. And there's been some rumors that Irafune opened up another Kickstarter for another project that he's doing.
Ooh.
Yeah, he opened up another Kickstarter for another project he's doing, knowing full well he still hasn't released Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, that does sound really shady. That's like something like I wouldn't even be doing. I'm like, well, here's the game.
Exactly. It's like, that's what makes it a little like, wait, what? Kind of moment. That's why people are just kind of like, I don't know what to think about this. And I don't blame them.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I just don't know what to think of this. I mean, if Irafune does well with it, then cool, but I don't know if it's going to go anywhere at this point. But basically, to sum up the Metal Gear topic, I would say this. After 5, The Phantom Pain, I wouldn't bother with Metal Gear anymore. I think it's no longer worth it. It's like, we know they're going to make a new Metal Gear series, and they're going to basically, it's like, I just don't know I just don't have anything left to say when it comes to the Metal Gear series in any way, shape, and form. All I could say is that get the Legacy Collection, pick up Ground Zeroes and Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain, and then pretty much just, that's it. Just don't buy anything else from Konami, because do you really think Konami is going to be able to do well with this new Metal Gear series, make it feel like the Metal Gear that we're used to?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're curious, I can understand getting one of their games to see how it does, but for me, it's like, I'm pretty much done. I think I've had my limit. I think I'm just going to move on to something else.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are hoping that maybe Konami can bounce back or something, do something for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Instead of just fucking up and just, like, pissing a lot of people off.
Definitely. We just gotta hope and see. But yeah, that's pretty much all I could say on the Metal Gear franchise.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to bring up besides Metal Gear that,
Well, there's not really much when it comes to, like, gaming topics of this time and frame. I think the only thing, like, I'm kind of wondering about is some of the newer games coming out in the near future. Like, for instance, Fallout 4.
What's your opinion on Fallout? I have my own opinions on Fallout 4 already, so I think you know some of them already.
Well, for me, Fallout 4 definitely looks like it's about to be an interesting game, especially after a report from Bethesda that just recently came out. Bethesda just released a report saying that Fallout 4 is just about ready to go, and they're pretty much getting ready to send it to us. Now, the thing is, they do have a season pass in the works. But they already said they have no clue what the DLC is going to be like, which is a good sign. The reason why it's a good sign is because it shows that they didn't take out things from the game to intentionally make it DLC like most other games.
Yeah.
Which is one thing I'm just like, yeah,
and it doesn't
good.
like Batman and everything, where it's like, hey, here's all the DLC, we already got it planned out and everything, and, you know, it's going to come out, like, this month or something like that, you know, down that line.
Exactly, and that's a good thing. So we know that they're still thinking about what would be good DLC. Then we also have the season pass, which is only going to be about $30.
Mm-hmm.
See, that doesn't bug me because they even said themselves, depending on the DLC they make, it'll probably reach a retail value of $40 to $50, and they're selling a season pass for $30.
Yeah.
Now I know some people are fearful of this because of Skyrim. Skyrim only had, I think, 3 DLC, and unfortunately, a couple of them weren't that great. Like, I know not a lot of people like Hearthstone. I know not Hearthstone. Hearthfire, there we go. It was that one. At least I think I'm pronouncing it right. No,
I thought there was only one big major DLC that came out of Skyrim.
There were 3. There was the one that involved the, the vampire cult and vampire hunters.
That one I know of because I've seen a lot of videos and stuff like that involving that. I just didn't think there were other 2 DLCs involved. That's what's surprising me about it.
Well, there was Hearthfire, which allowed you to build your own homes in different locations, and then there was finally, I forgot what the last one was, Dawn Guard. I don't know if that was the first one or the last one.
I think that, yeah, Dawn Guard, yeah, that
and then
was the last one.
And yeah, Dawn Guard was supposed to be this DLC where you actually went back to Saltstein, which is a location from Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which was also from a DLC. So this is the second time we're entering that location. Now, I haven't played the 3 DLC, but a lot of people say that they wish that there was more, especially considering the DLC for like Oblivion or even Morrowind. And I can understand this. With I played Morrowind. I played Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, and there were some cool DLC behind it. Granted, I haven't played it in years, so I don't remember them.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you a PC guy with those kind of games, or are you more console with the Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, and all that?
Well, unfortunately, my PC cannot play those games at a good setting, so I stick to the consoles.
Mm-hmm. But if you had a good PC and stuff like that, what would you normally stick with?
I'd probably stick with the PC because it's easier to back up data on the PC, and not to mention it would look a lot better. It would just look a lot better, and not to mention the inclusion of mods would make me want to keep coming back more and more and adding things.
And that's what brought me along with Skyrim, because I had the Xbox 360 version. This is before I thought of playing a lot more of my games on my PS3. But I found it to be a lot more enjoyable with those games, and I had a lot more fun on my PC than I did on my PS3.
Exactly, and that's kind of the cool thing. With Fallout 4, they're actually going to be including mods as with Fallout 4, they're going to include mods as an actual thing with both the PS4 and the Xbox One, and that's kind of cool. I kind of like this idea that there's going to be actual mods available for the consoles itself. I don't think that's ever been done before.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, Bethesda, in the same report, said that they're pretty much going to be releasing the creation kit for people to make mods for Fallout 4. It's the same kit and engine they used to make Fallout 4.
Which is a good positive thing for a lot of people because, I think games have come to the point where it's like, hey, we love your game so much that I think we're going to start modding the game. Because I feel like sometimes mods actually do help out the game. And there's a lot of people out there. If you look at Skyrim, there's so much content for Skyrim with mods.
Yeah, I know there is. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, it'll be an interesting thing to see when it actually becomes a reality with Fallout 4. And the thing is with Bethesda, they even said this when it comes, like, I said this with the DLC. We know about DLC like the Pit or Mothership Zeta. Now imagine those kind of DLC on a next generation console. Like, imagine the scale and otherwise that you would see.
Yeah.
That's what makes me very hopeful for this game. It makes me think, oh yeah, this is going to be an amazing game for when it comes out. And you know, I know some.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't know. I'm still kind of scared with the whole Fallout 4 kind of thing, but you know, it's Bethesda. I'm hoping it turns out well. It's just more like a gut instinct. Just, you know, I know you guys are bringing out this year, and you guys made that announcement this year. I just feel like I hope you guys, you know, come in guns blazing and do everything right with the game.
Well, I'll definitely say this. I know some people are fearful about the graphics for Fallout 4, but you want to know my opinion on that one? Gameplay over graphics.
Yeah.
I hate to bring that age-old argument into this, but gameplay over graphics. Fallout 4 may not look like, you know, some of the next-generation games. Like, it's no way looking like the Order 1886, and it definitely doesn't look like some of the other games that came out, especially Ground Zero, and especially the Phantom Pain. But I still think Fallout 4 looks good in its own right, considering the kind of massive world that it has.
But you could agree that the Order, it felt more like a hey, look at the PS4's graphics. Look how good it looks. Look how we could step up some. That's what I felt like the Order was. I think Angry Joe brought it up also, like kind of like a show-off game almost, not like what it was supposed to be.
But that's what I mean, like, it's one of those gameplay over graphics situations, and that's what I'm saying with Fallout 4. Yes, the game doesn't look the greatest, but I still think it's going to be a good game because of the gameplay on its gameplay alone. Especially considering how massive the world is now. Now we're getting like, you know, being able to customize weapons to our heart's content, being able to build our own town, helping rebuild society. That's fucking amazing. And that just makes me more more ready for when the game actually becomes a reality.
Yeah.
And I've already know about some of the locations and followers too, because I've been following the Fallout news for the longest now. So much so that I know for a fact that there are 4 followers that have been confirmed, which, you know, one, of course, is Dogmeat. The other one is the Mr. Handy that you run into from, that we saw from the trailer. And then there are 2 other followers. One that we saw in the Xbox trailer, you know, this guy with that laser musket. He's supposed to be a follower you can have on your team. And there's one more person that you run into that's from Diamond City, which is, you know, Fenway Park. And that's kind of cool.
Which is really cool, and I'm hoping it does well.
Yeah, same here. It's like, I don't think Fallout 4 is going to fail when it comes to being a game and otherwise. Will it have its shortcomings? Yeah, every game has its shortcomings. Some people call Fallout New Vegas a terrible game, when in reality it's really not.
Yeah. I don't know, I kind of saw it like an underrated game in a way, too. Like,
well, I think the thing is with Fallout New Vegas, it follows the lore of Fallout more closely than Fallout 3 does. My thing is, I've been playing Fallout 1 for a while, and after playing so much Fallout 1 and going back to New Vegas, I'm just like, holy shit, I know about this thanks to Fallout 1.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Fallout 1 and 2 are pretty close to New Vegas, and New Vegas was made by the original team of Fallout 1 and 2, Obsidian.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. With Fallout 4, will they stay close to the original like lore of Fallout? Will they do their own thing like they did with 3? Who knows? But I have a good feeling Fallout 4 is going to be an amazing game. I honestly think it's going to be one of those Game of the Year contenders along with Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. So that's going to be an interesting competition. Fallout 4, which is, you know, open world and a survival, and, you know, like a post-apocalyptic survival, or Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain.
And we're also getting, your guy can finally talk and everything, too. That's like...
Exactly. Or, like, that's what I'm saying. Out of these 2 games, which one's going to win? Fallout 4, which is a post-apocalyptic survival open world, or Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, an open world stealth espionage. This is very hard to say because they're 2 different genres, but still have an, you know, like a similar element, which is their open world.
Yeah.
I think what's going to end up winning at the end of the day is not only the gameplay and story, but which one has the better open world.
Yeah.
I mean, we see how crazy and open Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain's open world is.
It's 2 maps. I know that. It's literally just 2 maps.
Well, Fallout's is only one, but we don't know how large it is.
Yeah.
So we have, and not to mention, it's like we have to see once Fallout 4 comes out, and we've all played it for a while because it comes out in November. We just have to see what happens. Will Fallout 4 have a better open world than Metal Gear Solid 5? And if it does, is the story and gameplay better than Metal Gear Solid 5?
I'm actually curious about the loading times now. I'm actually really curious to see if Fallout really has all those loading times.
Well, the thing is, they said that they wanted to make their game more seamless. You know, try to get rid of load screens whenever possible. And I'm in for that. If they could pull that off, that would be cool, because that was one of the big problems I had with New Vegas. New Vegas has way too long load screens on consoles, to the point that in my playthrough of New Vegas, I always complain.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm sure nobody in here has seen my New Vegas playthrough, but there are times where it freezes on me on consoles, or it has long load times to the point that I have to restart the game, and then I immediately come back complaining like, this is why everybody plays on the PC, because the console version freezes up and is a piece of shit. Yeah, I did not mean for that to be a song, but you get what I mean.
No, it's cool. It's cool. You can do whatever you want in here anyway, so it's like, you know.
No, but I didn't mean.
You know,
Yeah, but that's what I didn't mean for that. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the console version from time to time. It's like, I'm enjoying myself. It froze. Fuck you. This is why everybody likes the PC version.
Yeah.
And I do own the PC version of Fallout New Vegas before anyone asks. It's just my PC can't run it very well. I have to play it on low settings, and it just looks murky.
I'm actually just kind of glad it's like between MGS and Fallout. If you haven't really played any of the Fallout games, you could just walk right into it, and it's just like, hey, it's a whole new world to you. It's like, you know, this is going on. If you want to play the other ones, you can play the other ones.
Exactly. With Fallout 4, you don't need to play any of them for you to get into the series. With MGS, you start with this game, you're going to be lost. Like, amazingly lost.
But I will give the game credit, MGS5 credit. There are recordings that go over certain things in the past that explain out what happened before. Like, they have explained Mission Snake Eater, they explain out Ocelot, Eva, and those two characters in there with Zero and stuff. I didn't really hear anything with Peace Walker really that much, but, you know, I gotta re-listen to the recordings again.
But not to mention, with 5, like I said, the story doesn't really, like, you know, take the main precedence as the gameplay does. So I'm pretty sure someone who is just in this game for the gameplay will enjoy this game. Now, that's just sort of the thing with Metal Gear Solid 5. It's like, if you know the story, you're going to enjoy it even further, but considering the gameplay is the biggest, you know, the most important thing that the game is showing, I still think someone new to the series could play 5 and enjoy themselves immensely, and then go back and play the previous ones to figure out the story. It just all really depends, really.
Yeah. And like you said, story kind of matters with both games. Like, MGS does have a good story. I love it. Ending was great. It was fun. It explains everything, which made it better, and it wrapped up where it needed to wrap up exactly. It lined up perfectly.
The only complaint I have towards MGS5, like I said, besides the fact that if you're new to the series, you're going to be lost, but the pacing of the game is kind of bad. It has a very rough beginning, to the point that you're just kind of like, holy fucking shit, with the beginning with the pacing.
Oh yeah, that whole prologue thing, yeah. But
and
I kind of understood why. Like, you want to take it slow. It's an MGS game.
But nevertheless, even after that, the story is kind of slow. Mm-hmm. It doesn't pick up until some of the later chapters.
Yeah, when you start meeting certain characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's kind of the one major gripe I have towards MGS5. And there was this one other complaint someone brought up, which I can see as a complaint, is the reflex mode being too good.
I don't see, and again, I have a defense to that also. Like, yeah, it's too good, but it also gives me that credit for like, and you can also take it off if you want to. So
Yeah, exactly.
they give you that feature to say, hey, you could take this off. So
Yeah, I get that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, new timers are gonna play with the reflex mode on because they're not used to the
and
series.
then you're also gonna get the cool kills also with it. It's like I had a situation where somebody spotted me and it went right to reflex mode. And I'm like, and I see two guys, and I'm like, well, that guy spotted me, the next guy's gonna spot me, so I have to get this guy that's right next to him. He's gonna notice, and it stays pretty long to the point where you can actually get the two guys exactly, because right away it's gonna be like boom, boom, and your situation's there. You saved yourself in a way.
Yeah, I get what you mean by that one. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I have a feeling that Metal Gear Solid 5 and Fallout 4 are probably going to compete with each other when it comes to Game of the Year this year. If either game gets it, I'm not going to be angry. I'm actually going to be very happy because I think both of these games deserve it in nearly every way. I think Fallout 4 deserves it, and I do. Well, not yet. I have to wait for the game to come out.
No, it's better
So
than Call of Duty getting it.
Call of Duty hasn't gotten Game of the Year in over years. Shooter of the Year, yes, but Game of the Year, fuck no. Last time it got that was.
I remember a time where Call of Duty, I think, got it religiously. I think maybe twice a year or something like that.
No, the only Call of Duty that got Game of the Year was COD 4.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
COD 4 was.
No, I think it was COD 4. And I remember a couple of CODs getting it.
No, they got Shooter of the Year.
Oh, well.
The rest of the CODs got Shooter of the Year. I think COD 4 got Game of the Year, or I may be thinking Modern Warfare 2, but yeah, I think those two got Game of the Year, while the rest only got Shooter of the Year. And the previous year, Shooter of the Year was given to something like Far Cry or something like that at one point.
Speaking of Far Cry, did you get Far Cry 4?
I have not, but I've already seen a full playthrough of it.
Do you like it or anything?
It looks interesting, but a lot of people have told me that it just doesn't stack up to 3 in certain areas.
Yeah, and I agree. And I 100% agree.
And I can see that. It's like I haven't played 3, but I've seen a playthrough of that as well, and it's like 3 just looks like the more interesting game when it comes to character, story, and otherwise. Because I was watching the full playthrough, and my God, was the character Ajay Ghale freaking bland as all hell.
I don't know. I liked RJ, but like my problems was that his uncle, which it's his uncle basically, and the guy with the pink suit.
Pagan Min.
Pagan Min. I don't like him as a villain. And I don't like the brother and sister. I don't like those two at all. I feel
brother and sister? Are you talking about Sabala and Amita? They're not siblings.
Oh, well, I thought they were siblings.
No, they're not. They're just two people with different ideologies and beliefs for Kiryat. The thing is, though, is that I kind of like Pagan the most because, yes, he's a bastard, but he's the lesser of the two evils. With Amita and Sabal, I never felt like any of them were doing anything for the right reasons. Yeah. I felt like they were doing it for their own blind justice, while Pagan was, doing something to keep the country in a good state.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, one of my favorite things is that at one point when you do actually run into Pagan, you can choose not to shoot him, and he'll actually take you to where you need to go. Like, at the end of the game, where he's pretty much like, how about we do a redo? You sit down, enjoy some of this with me, and then I'll tell you where you need to go.
I thought it was like fondue or something like that.
No, it was crab ragout.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and he pretty much just said, like, you can choose not to shoot him and basically actually listen to him. And I think that's cool, because they actually have an ending like that, where if you just stay there for about 15 minutes at the beginning of the game, he'll take you to exactly where you need to go, and there you go. Game over.
Yeah.
I think Pagan's one of the few straight and narrow villains I've ever seen. Especially if you picked up all of Mohan's journals. You pretty much learn the entire truth, because the last one's in there.
Yeah.
But that's what.
and it's insane. Like just like picking between the two, and it's like, do I have a third option? Because like it's looking more and more like I don't want to be with you guys because
Exactly.
you're looking like you're gonna fuck this all up. And then at the end, I'm dealing with Pagan, and I'm like, you know what? Where's the ending where I can fix all this, kill the other two people, and you can take full control? It's my accident. Just here, let's bury her, and that's
Well,
it.
that's the thing. Pagan pretty much says like the island of Kiryat belongs to you. And the funny thing is that you can actually kill whoever's left after the story is over. Like this guy chose to support Sabal, and then after he was done, he killed Sabal, and pretty much was like, "There we go, game over. Everyone died. The island belongs to me now. I'm gonna go have some crab ragout."
Yeah.
It's like just like wow.
It's like I don't think they were thinking on anything, but like just like and I think Pagan says it. It's like, well, you know, you should start. Everything's about this. Like it's like bad decisions. Like everything has a bad decision into it. Like whatever you do has a consequence.
Exactly, and that is true. It's like with Sabal and Amita, you had Sabal who wanted to become an extreme traditionalist, and Amita, you had her wanting to become a drug country.
Yeah.
It's like no matter where you sliced it, both of them were basically kind of worse off than Pagan. Pagan was the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's kind of the weird thing. I'll give it that. I mean, I'll give it that. Pagan's an interesting character, and the Land of Kiryat is interesting, but when it comes to general story and characters, I barely gave a fuck for half of them. Maybe Longinus because he's from Far Cry 2, and I like Far Cry 2. And I even like some of the other characters. Hell, I love the Tonka missions, where you played as, damn it, I forgot his name, but you know, where you went to Shangri-La.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where you went through Shangri-La and stuff like that. Those are cool-looking missions. I want to play that. But I think Far Cry 3 just has a better story, more interesting character, and, you know, better villain and better game, you know, almost better everything. I think the gameplay for Far Cry 4 was improved, and the map is definitely a lot larger and more diverse in Far Cry 4. But I think the story, the characters, and otherwise took a back seat to everything else, and that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's like that's why I think like it's still a good game. If you have the chance, get Far Cry 4. But if you haven't played Far Cry 3,
it's better than getting Assassin's Creed Unity. Let's just go with that.
Oh, don't get me started on that train wreck.
Oh and man, no, it's not my I got Assassin's Creed Unity. Story I loved. It was just that every little thing that I liked about it, I found something I disliked about it, and that's my problem with it.
Yeah, it was broken. Ubisoft released their game too quickly, and it's like now we have a new one coming out called Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Which I would have been happy if they didn't release it this year, but next year, and it would have showed like, hey, we made a big mistake with Unity last year, so you know what? We're gonna take the year off, and we're gonna make Syndicate a better game, you know, than Unity. Which is not bad, and I would be happy if they did that. The laughable thing every single time I went on is that it was around Christmas time. I got Unity, and I played Unity, and when I finished it, they had these chests around. And it's like, well, you need to do it with a community thing or something. It was like something with you have to go on the forums, and
But that's what I mean. It's like I just don't know what to think about Assassin's Creed at this point. It's like one of those. Like I played Black Flag. I just finally got a chance to play Black Flag, and fucking hell, is it a good game? I think it definitely redeems Assassin's Creed. Like because Assassin's Creed 3. Holy fucking shit. If you remember my reaction on the live stream when I went through the ending, I was angry. That ending made me the angriest I've ever been towards a game, to the point that I avoided Assassin's Creed.
The original Assassin's Creed, right?
No, 3. Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, yeah. No. I agree with you 100%.
You
Don't get
remember
me
my
started with
reaction on that
Assassin's
one.
Creed 3. Don't get me started with Assassin's Creed 3. I hate that game.
Yeah, you saw me with the ending. It's like, that game made me not want to play Assassin's Creed anymore. But then I finally played Black Flag, and I'm like, alright, this is good.
No,
And
see, what my problem with Assassin's Creed 3 was that Connor was a big problem. I didn't like Connor at all. I thought Hathan was a cool guy and everything. But then when you told me about the boss battle and stuff like that, because by about the time I'm still playing this, like I was playing this, I think I stopped like midway because the game was glitching out on me. I didn't like Connor at all. I didn't like how the situation was going with it, and I'm like, this is getting really boring for me. So I think I should about time sell the game or get rid of it or just let someone borrow it or something like that. And then I think I saw you do the ending, and then I was like, yep, that's why I hated it, because the game just crapped out.
yeah, exactly, because it's like with Assassin's Creed 3, the ending also went against everything Assassin's Creed. That's why I ended up dropping the series. But then, you know, I played Black Flag. I really freaking enjoyed it, especially the character Edward Kenway. And I want to check out Rogue. Assassin's Creed Rogue, I heard, is really freaking good. I heard it's a really good one as well.
Yeah, the one thing about Assassin's Creed Rogue and Unity, Rogue felt more like Assassin's Creed 4 from what I've heard from people. When I played Assassin's Creed Unity, it's like totally different. And what gets ridiculous, after you beat the game with Unity, you get this sword that's like really overpowered as hell. And every mission just becomes like the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, by the time you beat the game, I guess that kind of makes sense.
But, like, again, like, they did it like this. They did it, if you played Rogue, you had to get Unity because the beginning of the beginning of Unity is the end of Rogue, basically.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But then that's what I mean. It's like, we'll have to see what happens. But that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, at this point, I don't know if I want to support Assassin's Creed anymore. It's like, I'm just sort of like at the point where I just don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know anymore. It's like certain games I'll support and others. I think at this point, the only two games I'm really looking forward to is Rainbow Six Siege and The Division.
Yeah. Those
are the two main games I'm looking for. As a matter of fact, I'm already signed up for the Rainbow Six Siege beta.
I'm actually waiting for, what's the other Ubisoft game? With the fighting and stuff like that, we have to do the fighting with the martial arts, the samurais, the Vikings, and
I honestly don't remember that one.
I thought it was a really cool game and everything.
But yeah, don't buy Unity.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything. Do we have any more topics to talk about?
I don't think we do. I don't know.
Yeah, because we're already an hour in.
I think we're passing. No, we're almost past an hour.
Well, it says an hour and 20 and 18 minutes at this point.
Oh man, I didn't even think of that.
Oops.
It's cool. We had fun, you know. It was like one of those kind of like, you know, have fun, talk about a topic, get it through, and you know that's what we gotta do. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely say it like that. And I guess I'll just answer this quick question, like, because I didn't fully answer it. What games am I currently playing?
Mm-hmm.
I did while I was currently Let's Playing. Currently, I'm marathon the Metal Gear franchise. Like, I'm currently doing all the games in the Metal Gear Legacy Collection, and I also have the original Metal Gear 1 for PS1, so I might play that as well. I've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike Global Offensive for some strange reason or another. I don't know why. It's just like, I got bored, I went on Counter-Strike, I started playing, and I'm like, meh, I'll play more. And I'm starting to get more into it. And I've also been playing a lot of This War of Mine, which... Get that game. It's a really fun game. Even though it is kind of priced a little high, I still think it's a really fun game for people to check out. As people say, it's the war game that we need.
Yes.
And go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, if you want to add anything, then you can do your plugins and everything, so, you know.
Well, yeah, I guess we're pretty much done from this point, but if any of y'all want to keep in contact with me or learn more about, some of the stuff I do, or even just ask me random questions like, hey, what's your shoe size, or some dumb thing like that, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is Keeneye47. Just look up Keeneye47, you'll find my channel. And on my channel, you'll find my Twitter, my Tumblr, my Facebook, my DeviantArt, and various other things on there as well if you want to keep in contact with me with what I do, or if you just want to support my channel. Any kind of support or, hey, criticism of any kind is highly appreciated because I'm always looking to get better.
Yeah. And again, thank you for being on this. You know, it's good talking to you for like this long and everything. I know we do it like once in a blue moon, but it's like, you know, I feel like we got a lot that we talked about, and I lost my voice in the whole thing probably.
I know the feeling, man. Look at me. I'm a vlogger who screams and yells from time to time. I think my voice must feel from those events. Comes with practice.
Yeah. So like somebody's gonna be like, "Did he lose his voice through this?" And then I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, I lost my voice through it." Like halfway in, maybe more than halfway in. Just
yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why you had to let me talk through most of it because you knew my voice could last a while. It's like I'm used to recording 2 hours like spans of videos.
Yeah.
So it's like my voice can last even without water.
Yeah. So again, I thank you for being a part of this. Again, please follow this man. This man is awesome. He does a lot of things on YouTube. I know he doesn't live stream, but we're trying to get him to live stream eventually.
Well, I used to, but I'm thinking about picking it back up. I just haven't fully decided on that yet.
This man's also got a Patreon if you guys want to, you know, go check out his Patreon.
And for the record, all money that goes to my Patreon is going to be going towards upgrading my setup. New mics, new capture devices, those kind of stuff. I just upgraded my editing program, so yeah. That's where all the money goes.
It's not going to be like scamming somebody like Project 7.
Oh, let's not get started on that crap. No. I think the Sons of Kojima already did a good enough job on that one.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job. Well, I think that's pretty much the end. Anything you want to add into it that I didn't bring up or anything? Just
no, I'm pretty much. I think we've covered it all. All I could say is for Metal Gear Solid 5. Get it. I think it's worth the investment, even if Konami is a bad company. But I think it's worth investing in that game, basically as Kojima's swan song. After that, I say end it with Konami right there and then. But you know, I already said that, so just repeating myself. Sorry.
And again, this is Tankwing, and this is it's going to be on the Tankwing channel on my YouTube channel. This will be up there. So.
No problem.
And this is Keeneye, known as WolfKeen.
Yep, I'm Keeneye47, aka WolfKeen, and I'll see you all.